Is over. You have won.
If you walked away from the war between the land and the sea thinking humanity won, you didn't understand the ending. Because this finale isn't about victory. It's about what people are willing to justify when they're afraid, and how war doesn't end when the fighting stops. It mutates. It embeds itself into systems, into decisions, into people who still believe they're doing the right thing. Episode 5, The End of the War, doesn't give us closure. It gives us consequences. And every storyline in this finale, Severance, Homo Aqua's surrender, Barclay's transformation, and Kate Lethbridge-Stewart's final act, is built around a single, brutal truth. Survival does not equal innocence. Before we break it all down, here's what this episode is doing on a structural level. It strips away the language of diplomacy and exposes what was really happening all along. The war was never about coexistence. It was about control. And once that illusion collapses, every character is forced to confront what they've become in order to keep existing. Let's start with the lie at the center of everything. Severance is presented, at first, like a contingency plan, a last resort designed to end the conflict quickly. But the finale confirms what the show has been quietly signaling for episodes. Severance is not peacekeeping. It is biological genocide, a calculated effort to wipe out 90% of Homo Aqua's population so humanity can claim victory without having to share the planet. And the most disturbing part isn't the scale. It's how calm everyone is about it. General Oscar Gunsberg, General Dominique Duselier, and Prime Minister Harry Shaw aren't framed as raving villains. They're composed, professional, certain. They speak in percentages and probabilities, not lives. That's intentional. The show isn't warning us about monsters. It's warning us about institutions. This is how atrocities actually happen, not through hatred, but through language that makes violence sound reasonable, necessary, inevitable. The surveillance officer watching Barkley is a perfect example. She doesn't see a man in love or a bridge between species. She sees a variable, a delivery mechanism. And when Duselier orders, the bafflers paused. Restoring Homo Aqua communication just long enough for Salt to reach Barkley, it becomes clear that communication itself has been weaponized. Connection is allowed only when it serves destruction. That choice matters. Because Severance doesn't arrive with bombs or soldiers. It arrives through intimacy. Barkley isn't just collateral damage. He's the vector. Gunsberg's agents spike his drink. They inject him while he sleeps. He never consents. He never knows. And when he kisses Salt, believing he's sharing comfort, he unknowingly passes extinction into her body. That's the cruelty of Severance. It turns love into a weapon and trust into a delivery system. Salt's realization comes too late. By the time she understands what's happened, the virus is already spread through her people. Her line, "The virus brought fire to the world of water, and we burnt," isn't poetic exaggeration. It's a historical record. An entire civilization erased through proximity, not force. And this is where the episode refuses to let humanity feel victorious. Homo Aqua don't fight back. They surrender, not because they believe in peace, but because they are terrified. The surrender scene between Salt and Barkley is deliberately restrained. There are no grand speeches, no moral absolution, just exhaustion. Salt makes it painfully clear that Homo Aqua will comply with whatever humanity demands, not out of trust, but out of fear. That distinction is everything. Compliance born of terror is not peace. It's submission. Barkley offers what sounds like mercy, a haven in the Mariana Trench, protection under human oversight. And on paper, it looks reasonable, generous even, but Salt's response strips the illusion away. She accepts the offer while openly acknowledging that Homo Aqua have no faith in humanity's promises. Protection from the people who just committed genocide is not safety, it's containment. Then Salt does something far more unsettling than retaliation. She doesn't attack the generals. She doesn't threaten immediate revenge. She simply tells the truth. She knows exactly who orchestrated the genocide, and the water will come for them. The flash forwards that follow, Gunsberg, Duselier, Shaw, aren't framed as triumph. They're framed as consequences. Not destiny, not prophecy, but inevitability. When you destabilize a natural order, it doesn't negotiate. It responds. And when Salt reveals that Homo Aqua technology has been hidden beyond humanity's reach, buried so deep it can never be exploited, the power dynamic shifts one last time. Humanity may have won the war, but it has lost the future. Knowledge, advancement, coexistence, all gone. The cracking water tank in Empress Hall isn't symbolism subtlety. It's a warning. Whatever fragile trust existed between the species has shattered permanently. And then we reach Barkley, the one character who seems to escape the logic of destruction. Earlier, Salt mentioned accord, describing it as a way two species join and celebrate something believed to be lost. What the finale reveals is that accord was never just cultural. It was biological, transformative, and Barkley carries it now, not by choice, but by exposure. Kate's phone call from the doctor confirms it. Barclay's brain chemistry has changed. Accord isn't a memory. It's imprinted. When Kate takes him to the coast and he runs toward the sea, this isn't a romantic reunion. It's a point of no return. When Salt touches him and he realizes he's grown gills, the moment isn't framed as horror or miracle. It's quiet acceptance. Barkley can no longer fully belong to humanity. And the show doesn't present that as tragedy. It presents it as alignment. But here's the critical correction. Barkley's transformation is beautiful and disturbing. He didn't choose this freely. His body was altered without consent, just like Homo Aqua's fate was decided without theirs. The difference is outcome, not method. By swimming into the ocean with Salt, Barkley doesn't transcend violence. He escapes its jurisdiction. Accord survives not because humanity allowed it, but because it slipped beyond human control. And then the episode delivers its final, most uncomfortable mirror, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. The post-credit scene is short, mundane, and terrifying. Kate sees a man littering. She asks him to pick it up. He refuses. She asks again. He dismisses her. So she pulls a loaded gun. On the surface, it's about environmental responsibility. Underneath, it's about authority collapsing under grief. Kate has lost Christopher. She has compromised herself, blackmailed her psychiatrist, escalated her medication. The systems that once restrained her are gone, and now, when challenged, she defaults to force. This moment isn't meant to shock for shock's sake. It's a direct parallel to Severance. Same logic, same justification. I know what's right and preventing harm. Compliance is non-negotiable. Kate is becoming what the generals already are. That's the final warning of the series. Not that power corrupts, but that people who believe they are protecting the world are often the most dangerous when they're unchecked. The suggestion that only the doctor might intervene isn't fan service. It's an admission that no internal authority remains capable of stopping the damage. When institutions rot, salvation has to come from outside the system. The war between the land and the sea doesn't end with hope. It ends with clarity. Humanity survives, but forfeits moral authority. Homo Aqua endure, but as refugees of genocide. Love persists, but only by abandoning human dominance entirely. And power remains stripped of the illusion that it knows best. This isn't a story about winning a war. It's about what you become when winning is all that matters. And that's why this ending doesn't fade. It follows you.